we were able to act because students came forward to the school staff. That's the single most important thing we should take away today. Kids came forward and said something. They saw or knew something, they said something, they did the right thing during tense and difficult circumstances, and as a police department, we appreciate and commend them for doing that. We also want to appreciate our commitment to the school staff who worked quickly and cooperatively with responding officers, and that's what allowed a safe outcome to occur so quickly. I'll give you a brief timeline of what happened yesterday. At 1:11 p.m., there was a 911 call placed from the school regarding a credible info that a student had a gun on campus, and this call came from the principal. By 1:15, initial officers had arrived on scene and had contacted school staff. Multiple assisting officers and detectives also had continued to respond in the following minutes and continued arriving. By 1:31 p.m., officers and staff had worked through the information together, known to them at the time, and we developed a plan. A team of officers began moving to the classroom where the student was identified as being. This was a classroom that was active, had about 25 or 30 students in it. While that was happening, the principal made an announcement putting the school in a modified lockdown. They asked the teachers to hold the students in their classrooms. As soon as that announcement was finished being made, with the assistance of a school representative, officers made entry into the room where the student was, and he was immediately identified, taken into custody without incident, and escorted from the room. In those moments, right after he was escorted from the room, a loaded handgun, a .40 caliber handgun, was recovered on his person. From the time that the lockdown was initiated to the time that he was in custody was 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes. The lockdown was lifted by the school in approximately 10 to 15 minutes after. It might not even have been that long. No one was injured at any point during this incident. From the time the 911 call was placed to the time that the suspect was in custody was 22 minutes overall. After the suspect was removed from the classroom, officers remained there and spoke with students about what had just occurred and remained to answer questions. Officers also encouraged students to call their parents right there in those moments and let them know that they were okay. Officers and detectives remained at the scene, interviewing multiple witnesses and gathering additional information. This investigation is still active and ongoing, even though a suspect's been booked into jail. In compliance with state law, the suspect was provided a mental health evaluation before being booked into the Denny Juvenile Justice Center. The suspect was also advised of their constitutional Miranda warnings, but officers did not attempt an interview with that suspect in compliance with state law. The gun's serial number that was recovered had been scratched off or altered. The investigation is continuing on how the suspect came into possession of the weapon. The suspect was booked for unlawful possession of a firearm on school property, unlawful possession of a firearm based on the individual's age, and having possession of a firearm that had altered identifying marks.